This is a very, very important video for every American to see. We either have rights or we don't. People have the power to trample our rights or they don't. We're talking about Zach Bryan, who was pulled over by Oklahoma troopers or patrolmen or whoever and was arrested. Why was he arrested? Did he commit a crime? Did he harm somebody? Did he threaten to harm somebody? Did he damage property and refuse to pay for it? Did he actually commit a crime worthy of the torture cuffs, worthy of a jail cell? We're going to take a look at this and we're going to listen from Zach Bryan's own words what happened. And I'm thinking he was probably telling the truth, because if the body camera footage and dash camera footage comes out and it conflicts with his story, he's going to look real bad. So I'm just going to take it that what Zach Bryan tells us in this Twitter post right here, we're going to take a look at, is the truth. And we're going to kind of dissect it a little bit, but it's important because if you don't have rights, if you don't have freedom, if you don't have American liberties, you've got nothing. And if we start placating and backing down and apologizing to our victimizers, what does that say about us? What does that say about the state of our country? What does that say about our mentality? And what does it say about the fragility of our freedom and liberty that we say that we have? It's supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave, right? Zach Bryan was arrested last night, says Fox News, in a small town in Oklahoma on an obstruction of investigation charge. That is the go-to charge that badged law enforcers constantly talk about. You got in the way of our investigation, boy, and we're going to have to remove all your freedoms from you and impound your vehicle, steal your property. Here's what Zach Bryan says about this.
Hey everybody, me and Jack are halfway to New York. He is slumped out, farting everywhere. I got 7 Red Bulls in me, and I just wanted to be completely transparent with everyone who listens to my music about what happened yesterday with me getting arrested and everything, because I don't want the internet to do what the internet does and, like, I don't know, make stuff up. So I want to start by saying I have to deal with the legalities of it. I did go to jail. I didn't play favorites, and I was an idiot today, and my decisions did not reflect who I was as a person, and I just want to make that clear, and I should have been smarter about it. But I just want to tell you guys the whole timeline, the whole story, so there's no confusion. Around 3 days ago, I was driving through this small town in Oklahoma, and this is the beginning of all of it. And I drive by this cop. I was going like 4 or 5 over. He pulls me over. He comes to my window. First thing he asks for is license, registration, and my address. And I told him, I said, hey man, I don't.
If it's true that he was only going 4 or 5 over, this is just another piece of the puzzle and a piece of the fact that we live in a police state. And this is, I constantly say that you think you have constitutionally protected rights. You think you have the right to be secure in your persons, houses, papers, and effects. On the public roadways, no, you don't. Because guess what trumps, practically speaking, guess what trumps the Constitution? Traffic law. You were going with this. This gives us an excuse to harass you. This gives us an excuse to violate your free right of travel on American roadways. It's nonsense.
Really feel comfortable giving you my address. I'm a musician and I'm not comfortable with it. So he says, if you don't give me your address, I'm gonna have to take you to jail. And I'm like, man, I'm not gonna give you my address. So he tells me to step out of the vehicle.
Jails, by the way, are for criminals, people who harm other people, steal from other people. Jails are not for people who don't give cops addresses.
He puts handcuffs on me, and I'm like, man, what the hell is going on? Why are you doing this? He's like, why are you not giving me your address? So we talked about it. I explained to him why. I ended up giving him my address. I ended up like abiding by what he was saying. We kept talking. He finally took my handcuffs off. He gave me a warning because I wasn't going too fast or anything, and then he let me go because I just started respecting him and being cordial. But I think it just frustrated me a lot because I didn't know if I had.
That says a lot. Oh, he took the torture cuffs off of me because I started licking his boots. I started stroking his fragile ego. Then he took the torture cuffs off of me. You shouldn't have had the torture cuffs on in the first place.
Right to refuse giving him my address or not, but I did, and who knows. But that happened. Fast forward to today. I wake up and I tell my security guard, hey man, I'm gonna drive to Boston today. So, to see the Birds play. So we're driving to Boston, we get like 40 minutes away from my house. We're going through Veneta. He's behind me, and I see him getting pulled over. So I'm like, oh man. So I go around the block, and I come and I pull back up next to him. And I'm just sitting there. I didn't get out of the vehicle or anything. I'm just sitting there waiting on him. 10 to 15 minutes goes by, and I get out of the car. I'm like, man, why is this, what is taking so long? And I was gonna smoke a cigarette. The cop comes up to me, and he's like, sir, get back in your vehicle. And I'm like, I'm not the one getting pulled over. Please, like, he's like, get back in your vehicle, or I'm gonna have to take you to jail. And like a dumbass, I said, take me to...
That's a threat of force against an American citizen who isn't violating another person's rights. Let's just be real clear about that.
Fucking jail? What do you mean? And he was like, take you to jail. And I was like, damn. So I get too lippy with him. He brings me over to his car. And I just didn't help my situation at all. I felt like a child. It was ridiculous. It was immature. And I just pray everyone knows that I don't think I'm above the law. I was just being disrespectful, and I shouldn't have been. And it was my mistake.
If you're not free to be disrespectful on American soil, then you are not free. If you're not free to get out of your truck at a traffic stop to smoke a cigarette, then you're not free. If you're not free to get lippy with a cop, you're not free. This is called freedom of speech, by the way. Not only has he not committed a crime yet, we're going to go on with this story, but not only has he not committed a crime, he was standing there exercising American rights. And he was being threatened by a domestic terrorist that he'll be cuffed and jailed if he continues exercising his American rights. This should infuriate everyone. But the most infuriating thing is coming up.
So he gets me in these cuffs, man, and they're tight, and he puts me in his front seat, and we're just all going back and forth. I'm like, man, these cuffs hurt. He's like, they're
torture cuffs. Torture cuffs. That's what they are.
He's like, they're not supposed to be comfortable. He was just being a cop, you know? And so I'm just getting more angry and angry, which is like the worst thing you could possibly do.
Just being a cop.
15 minutes goes by. They finally let me out of the vehicle, and I'm like just mouthing off like an idiot, like an actual child. I'm like, man, someone's got to get a hold of you guys. This is like, why are you using your authority like this? This is so wrong. When in reality, they were just doing their jobs. I was upset.
No. In reality, you're right. In reality, they were wrong. In reality, they were acting like terrorists. In reality, they were acting like 1930s Germany checkpoint patrolmen.
And so he looks at me, he says, hey man, I'm going to tell you this, and if you like, don't interrupt me. And I was like, well, after you're done, I'm going to say my piece. He's like, okay. He started talking. I interrupted him naturally because I was just angry. So he said, I'm going to take you to jail. And he took me to jail. And
he took him to jail for interrupting. I hope all this is on body cam. I hope all this is on dash cam.
And I was in jail for a few hours. When I got there, it kind of like lightened up because I just kind of cooled off a little bit. I was talking to the people booking me. Everyone was super kind. I was in my jail cell for a while. And the cop and me eventually shook hands. I ended up apologizing online because I realized that my actions didn't reflect who I was as a person. And that was kind of the night ended okay. I have to deal with the legalities of it when I go back home. The people of Veneta were super kind. I just want to tell the story and get it out there before someone blew it out of proportion. I was just an idiot, and I'll take the fall for it. I'm a grown man, and I shouldn't have behaved like that, and it won't happen again. I love you guys. Thanks for defending me online and stuff. I don't really need it. I just shouldn't have did what I did. And the world moves on. Tomorrow's gonna come anyway. And Jack's poop, man. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Never apologize to those who victimize. This is what makes me mad. This is the kicker of the whole thing. I don't have anything against you, Zach Bryan. I don't know who you are. You don't apologize and you don't negotiate with terrorists. How many millions of people fought, bled, and died for the freedoms you're apologizing for? You didn't do anything wrong. If you do nothing wrong, well, if you believe you've done something wrong, you're going to apologize. But you need to sensitize your mind to the fact that we have American rights, and they were trampled by the road pirates in that whatever county that was, Whoever those patrolmen were, we need names, we need badge numbers because they trampled your rights. And nobody should be telling Zach, yeah, you should apologize about that. You don't apologize for your freedoms. Here's what I wrote to him under this post that we just saw. Zach, you were literally arrested for exercising free speech. This is America. We don't negotiate with roadside terrorists, and we don't apologize for acting like free men in a free country. Sounds like the only wrong that was committed that night was committed by clowns in costumes. Your apology is a slap in the face to everyone who died fighting for the freedoms the cops decided to trample. And that is what happened. Mr. Liberty says, a slave believes his masters are justified to use violence on him and will even apologize to his masters after he has been victimized. Yes, that is true. Fatty Patty says, you getting out of your car is not obstruction of justice, frickin' men. You speaking is freedom of speech. And those cops swore to protect Zach Bryan's and your freedom of speech. So when Zach Bryan is apologizing for his actions, by extension, he's basically apologizing for all Americans' actions who would dare to step out of their vehicle, smoke a cigarette, and question and stand toe-to-toe with a cop who's got such a fragile ego, he's going to use the power of the state to bring it down upon you because you exercised a right he swore to protect and defend. This is so convoluted, and this is so messed up on so many levels. This person said, they arrested you for absolutely no reason. Amen. I agree. As an attorney who doesn't practice in that state, doesn't seem there was any reason to detain you. Your people will take care of it, and hopefully it turns into a good thing. This guy says he's a lawyer. It's got 77,000 impressions. This guy who also says he's a lawyer, he says it's called obstruction of justice. As an attorney, regardless of which state you practice, you should know that when a cop pulls over someone, then another person interferes with their traffic stop, standing outside of your vehicle, smoking a cigarette, or recording the cop's actions is not obstruction. It's called being an American and caring about justice. Mouthing off to a cop and telling him off is not obstruction. They can fabricate and make up that it's obstruction, but that doesn't make it obstruction. Then another person interferes with their traffic stop, does not obey lawful orders to stay in the car and or leave, and keeps the cop from attending to their traffic stop. Cops have every right to arrest. Not constitutional rights. They don't have natural rights. They actually became the very enforcers of the evil they claim to be protecting us from. So Zach Bryan apologizes for, in my opinion, having done nothing wrong. What do you think? Do you think Zach Bryan did something wrong? Do you think standing outside of a truck at a traffic stop where his buddy's probably being harassed by the cops because he's concerned about his buddy, do you think that's wrong? Is that an arrestable offense? Should somebody have their freedoms taken away because they stood toe-to-toe to a cop and exercised their freedom of speech? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police. This pisses me off in the comment section below. I really want to know what you guys have to say. Do you think Zach Bryan did wrong? Do you think the cops did right? Do you think the cops did wrong? Do you think they protected and defended Zach Bryan's liberty on the public roadways?